Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into something really fascinating. The udon culture of Fukuoka, Japan.
That's right. It's quite distinct.
We got this great article from one of you delving into what makes Fukuoka udon so, well, unique, especially the toppings and the side dishes.
Absolutely.
So if you're interested in getting a quick but thorough understanding of these regional food traditions and how we reflect local history, stick around. This should be a good one.
Definitely. What's immediately clear from the source is that Fukuoka udon isn't just, slightly different. It's got its own whole story.
Right.
The article even kicks off by asking, basically, why did Fukuoka udon develop so uniquely? Which tells you there's something deeper going on.
Okay, so let's dig into that why. The article suggests it boils down to regional tastes and what ingredients were actually available there.
Makes sense.
And one of the first things that pops up is this iconic topping.
Gobo-ten.
Ah, yes, gobo-ten. Deep-fried burdock root tempura. It sounds simple, but it's really key.
What's so special about it? Well, the article points out this amazing contrast in texture. You've got these super soft Fukuoka noodles.
Right, famously soft.
And then this really distinct crunch from the gobo-ten. It's quite a specific pairing you don't find everywhere.
It makes you wonder if that crunch was deliberately sought after, maybe.
Could be. Maybe a counterpoint to other softer foods common there. It's that kind of local adaptation that's so interesting.
And it's not new, is it? The article traces it back to a place called Ochan Udon in Hakata.
Yeah, late Meiji, early Showa period, so quite a while ago.
Wow, and apparently people loved it not just for the crunch, but it was seen as nourishing too. Burdock root.
And it helps that Kyushu, where Fukuoka is, actually produces a lot of burdock. So it was familiar, it was available.
Yeah.
Easy choice, really.
That totally tracks. It's like making the best of what's right there in your backyard.
Exactly. Which leads us to another really distinctive topping, maruten.
Maruten. Okay, what's the story there?
It's a round, deep-fried fish paste tempura.
Fish paste tempura.
Yeah, and this is interesting. The article notes that in Hakata, tempura doesn't always mean battered vegetables or shrimp. It can also refer to this kind of fried fish paste.
Huh. Okay. That's a local twist. And it's round.
Designed specifically, it seems, to fit nicely in a standard rice bowl. It's apparently similar to something called Satsuma age, but it's very much its own thing in Hakata.
And why fish paste?
Well, Hakata's a port city. Lots of seafood. So the source suggests it was just an easy, hearty, and readily available thing to add to udon.
Makes sense. Easy protein.
And the flavor combination is crucial. You get the gentle udon broth, which we'll talk more about, and then this savory, fishy umami from the maruten. It just works.
Sounds really good.
Yeah.
But it's not just about the toppings, right? The sides are important too. Kashiwa meshi comes up.
Oh, absolutely essential. Kashiwa meshi. That's rice cooked with chicken and vegetables, usually seasoned with soy sauce or mirin.
And it's not just an optional side dish.
No, the article presents it as a core part of the Fukuoka food scene. You find it at festivals, events, and it's basically the standard pairing at udon places. Like you get kashiwa meshi with your udon.
Okay.
Its flavor is described as pretty gentle, so it complements the udon rather than competing with it.
And there's a nostalgic element too.
Yeah, the article mentions how the seasoning varies slightly from family to family, restaurant to restaurant. So for locals, it has that taste of home, that comfort food connection.
I like that. It adds another layer.
And interestingly, the source makes a point of distinguishing it from Gomoku Gohan.
Okay, how so?
With kashiwa meshi, chicken is really the star flavor, and the ingredients are mixed in while the rice cooks. Gomoku Gohan is more varied ingredients cooked with the rice. A subtle difference, but it highlights the specifics of the regional dish.
Got it. These little details really define a cuisine. So we've got these unique toppings. It's essential side dish. The article also kind of summarizes the whole appeal into three main points. First up, the soft noodles.
Right. This is probably the defining feature. Fukuoka udon noodles are known for being incredibly soft, almost glutinous. They don't have that firm koshi or bite you might expect elsewhere in Japan.
And why is that?
The theory presented is that it links back to Hakata being a busy merchant town. Pre-boiled noodles were popular because they were quick to prepare.
Ah, convenience driving the texture.
Exactly. Quick meals for busy people. And that preference just stuck and became characteristic. The article talks about this unique texture, how the noodles almost become one with the broth.
Which brings us to the second point.
Yeah.
That light, elegant broth.
Yes. Described as clear, golden, and very light in flavor. The base is typically kombu kelp, Yuriko, those dried sardines again, and bonito flakes.
Simple, classic base.
Finish with just a touch of light soy sauce, maybe some mirin. It's meant to be delicate, subtle, something you want to drink right down to the bottom of the bowl.
Sounds very refined, actually. Comforting.
Definitely. And the third point circles back to what we started with, the abundant and unique toppings.
Right, tying it all together.
Yeah, revisiting things like the gobo ten, the marutan, and also niku udon, that's udon, with simmered meat. It highlights how local ingredients are used and how different shops add their own flair.
So there's variety, even within the Fukuoka style.
For sure. And it encourages customization, mixing and matching with sides like the kashiwa meshi. It's part of the fun.
The article also paints a picture of actually eating it. It mentions this soft and chewy noodle texture coming from a technique of like letting the noodles boil longer.
Yeah, leaving the noodles to boil, it lets them really soak up that broth, so the flavor develops as you eat.
Interesting. And it mentions the broth ingredients again, kombu, bonito, yuriko, reinforcing that clear, balanced flavor.
And then there's the whole customized culture. You get a lot of freedom with toppings, especially those local stars like gobo ten and marutan.
Plus those little extras you can add yourself.
Exactly. Self-serve things like tenkatsu, crispy tempura bits, maybe some spicy yuzu kosho or yam kelp. You can really tweak it to your liking.
So it's very interactive.
And for a bigger meal, especially later in the day, there's udonjime.
Udonjime.
Yeah, it's like finishing off a meal or drinks with udon, maybe with more substantial toppings, almost like izakaya-style food alongside it. Shows how central udon is there.
Versatile.
Yeah.
But that kashiwa set keeps coming up as the standard.
Oh, yeah. The article really hammers home that it's the go-to accompaniment. It stresses that flavor contrast, again, the light udon, the richer chicken rice. That udon plus rice thing is just normal, everyday eating for people in Fukuoka.
It really paints a picture of a complete harmonious meal, doesn't it?
Absolutely. The soft noodles, the delicate broth, those specific toppings, the essential rice side, it all fits together perfectly, born from local ingredients and history.
Now, the big question for many of us, how do you try this if you're not in Fukuoka? The article admits it can be tough to find authentic versions elsewhere.
Yeah, it's quite regional, but there is a glimmer of hope mentioned.
Oh.
The source points toward online options, specifically mentioning Amazon, where you might be able to order some Fukuoka udon products.
Really? Did it name any specifics?
It did. Two, actually. One was Torchikuken Kashiwa Udon Noodles with Marutan and Burdock 10 for 5 people. It's a frozen set, apparently based on what you'd get at Oreo Station's standing udon stall in Kitakyushu.
Okay, a frozen kit. Interesting.
And the other was Matsubara Shouten Hakata Burdock Tenshi Udon Noodles, a 10-serve set that includes the soup base, positioned maybe as a souvenir or gift item.
So there are ways perhaps to get a taste delivered, even if it's not quite the same as being there?
Seems like it's worth looking into if you're curious.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive, we've seen Fukuoka udon is really defined by its incredibly soft noodles,
Almost uniquely soft.
that light, elegant broth, and those very specific toppings like the crunchy gobo ten and the savory marutan.
And you absolutely cannot forget the kashiwa meshi, that essential chicken rice side dish.
Right. And the key takeaway seems to be how all these elements grew directly out of Fukuoka's local environment. The ingredients readily available, the needs of the people, like those busy merchants.
And just the local palate developing over time. It's a culinary tradition shaped by place.
It really is fascinating. It makes you pause and think, how even a seemingly simple dish like a bowl of udon
Yeah.
can tell such a rich story about a region's history, its resources, its people's tastes. It
Absolutely.
makes you wonder, what other everyday foods that we just take for granted might be hiding similarly deep and fascinating cultural stories? Something to think about.